All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful stories ever written, George Orwell's Animal Farm. It's a story that really asks a terrifying question. How does a revolution, something that starts with this dream of equality, end up getting twisted into a tyranny that's even worse than what it replaced?
Misery and slavery. That's the core of it, right? For the animals on Manor Farm, this wasn't some abstract philosophy. It was their actual day-to-day life. And this one powerful idea from a wise old pig becomes the spark, the thing that ignites the whole revolution. You see, it's not really just a story about animals. It's about how that promise, the promise to end suffering, can be the most powerful and maybe the most dangerous political tool there is.
So it all starts on Manor Farm, which is, let's be honest, a pretty miserable place. It's run by this guy, Mr. Jones, who, well, he drinks way more than he works. He neglects the fields, he neglects the animals. For every creature living there, life is short, it's brutal, and it's all about one thing, being hungry. So, into all this despair comes this revolutionary idea called animalism. And its logic is so simple, it's almost seductive. It goes like this. Man is the enemy. Why? Because he's the only creature that just takes and takes without ever making anything. So get rid of him, and everything you work for, it's finally yours. It's this perfect, simple vision of a utopia. And that becomes the seed for the whole rebellion. Okay, so the rebellion, it wasn't some big, planned-out event. It was more like a flash flood of pure fury. Mr. Jones gets drunk and forgets to feed them just one too many times, and that's it. The animals just snap. They're united by hunger, by instinct, and they just erupt. It's a completely spontaneous uprising, and they drive Jones and his men right off the farm for good.
And in that giddy aftermath, they can barely believe they're actually free. They go on this rampage, destroying every symbol of their old lives, the whips, the chains, even the ribbons. Manor Farm is officially dead. And in its place, Animal Farm. A paradise that they truly believe they've built all by themselves.
Of course, every new society needs its laws, right? So the pigs, who are the clever ones who've taught themselves to read, they boil down animalism into these 7 commandments. They paint them in huge letters on the barn wall for everyone to see. And these are supposed to be it, the unchangeable, sacred foundation of their new world. Now, you're going to want to remember these, because literally the entire story hinges on how these rules get twisted and manipulated.
And you know what? At first, the farm is actually thriving. Things are going great. But leadership, well, it naturally falls to the pigs, since they're the cleverest animals around. And almost immediately, a rivalry starts to bubble up between the two big personalities, Snowball and Napoleon.
And look, this isn't just some petty personality clash. This is a battle for the very soul of the revolution. You've got Snowball on one side. He's the brilliant idealist, dreaming of this modern, efficient farm with a windmill and all that. And then you have Napoleon. He's the quiet, cunning strategist who, frankly, cares a lot less about big ideas and a lot more about just grabbing power for himself. There's just no way these two visions can exist on the same farm. So the conflict finally blows up. There's this huge debate over the windmill. And Snowball, with his amazing speeches, is totally winning over the crowd. But Napoleon? He has zero intention of losing a fair vote. So he unleashes his secret weapon, 9 huge, ferocious dogs that he's been secretly educating. They don't debate, they attack. They chase Snowball right off the farm, forever. And just like that, democracy on Animal Farm is over.
Make no mistake, this is a coup. With Snowball gone, Napoleon just cancels the debates. Poof, gone. From now on, all decisions will be made by a committee of pigs that, surprise, surprise, he controls. And in the stunned silence that follows, it's the hardworking horse, Boxer, who says the one thing that allows every dictatorship to happen: blind loyalty. That phrase becomes the mantra that lets this new tyranny get its grip.
Okay, so now that he's got total control, the real work of corruption can begin. And this is where it gets really insidious. Led by Napoleon's propaganda minister, this brilliant pig named Squealer, they start to tear down the revolution. But not with force, at least not at first. They do it with words. The pigs' main weapon is psychological warfare. It's brilliant in a terrifying way. They move into the farmhouse, right, which is a huge violation of one of the commandments. But when the other animals get suspicious, the pigs just say, "Go look at the wall." And when they look, the rule hasn't been broken. The animals have just misremembered it. See, the pigs sneak out in the middle of the night and add a couple of words here and there. It's a masterclass in gaslighting, making the animals doubt their own minds.
And if controlling the present isn't enough, the next step is to control the past. Squealer, that master of spin, starts telling everyone that Snowball wasn't a hero. Oh no, he was a traitor from the very beginning. And he's got secret documents to prove it that, of course, nobody ever gets to see. He literally rewrites history. And if anyone even thinks about questioning it, Squealer pulls out the ultimate threat. Surely, you don't want Jones to come back, do you? And so the revolution is taken apart, piece by painful piece. First, Napoleon starts trading with humans. Forbidden. Then, the revolutionary song, Beasts of England, is banned. Next thing you know, Napoleon is staging these terrifying public executions of so-called traitors. It's a system, you see. Break a rule, rewrite a memory, invent a new threat, and crush anyone who disagrees. Every single ideal they started with is just slowly and deliberately choked to death.
And through all of this, all of it, you have Boxer, the loyal horse. He's the revolution's most devoted follower. And every time things get harder, every time there's a new contradiction, he just meets it with the same two phrases: "I will work harder," and "Napoleon is always right." He's the perfect example of that exploited, completely loyal worker who puts all their trust in the state, no matter what.
Well, eventually, Boxer just works himself to the point of collapse. His lungs give out. Squealer comes out and makes this big announcement, just dripping with fake sympathy, saying that Comrade Napoleon is personally arranging for Boxer to be taken to a hospital to be treated. And for a moment, the other animals are relieved. It seems like an act of real compassion. But as the van is pulling away, it's Benjamin, the old, cynical donkey who never says anything, who finally breaks his silence. He can read, and he reads the words on the side of that van. It's not an ambulance. It says, "Horse Slaughterer." They're taking Boxer to the knackers. The most loyal, faithful heart of the revolution has just been sold for glue, and the money's going to be used to buy whiskey for the pigs. It is the final, most absolute betrayal. So, years go by, and yeah, the farm gets richer, but only for the pigs and the dogs. For everybody else, life is just as hard as it was under Jones, maybe even harder. And by now, most of the animals who actually remember the rebellion, they're gone. And then comes the moment, the one that shatters any illusion that was left. Squealer comes out of the farmhouse, walking. Awkwardly, but he's doing it, on his hind legs. Then all the other pigs follow. And finally, Napoleon himself appears, standing upright, carrying a whip. And before anyone can even process what they're seeing, the sheep, who've been taught a new song in secret, start bleating it out. 4 legs good, 2 legs better. And with that one simple phrase, the very first, most fundamental rule of animalism, that 2 legs are the enemy, is just completely and shamelessly turned on its head. The transformation is almost complete. Something pulls the old mare Clover over to the big barn. She asks Benjamin to read the wall for her, the spot where the 7 commandments used to be. But they're not there. Everything's gone. All 7 of those sacred laws have been scraped away. Well, not everything. All that sacrifice, all that hope, it's been erased and replaced with just one single final rule. And there you have it, the ultimate contradiction, now written as the one and only law. The revolution has finally reached its endpoint. A new, much more efficient class system, where that original dream of equality has been twisted into the very excuse for inequality. In the final haunting scene of the story, the ordinary animals are peering through the farmhouse window, and they see the pigs in there, playing cards with human farmers. And as they look back and forth from pig to man, and from man back to pig, they suddenly realize they can't tell the difference anymore. The revolution has come completely full circle, and it leaves us with this timeless, chilling question. How easily can the very people who fight oppression become the new oppressors? And maybe more importantly, how do we stop that from happening again?